What's good, Cornertalks family? It's your boy Cheese. Today is, I don't know what episode. I know I haven't been posting for a little bit over a month. My apologies, but we are back. And the reason why I'm a little bit disappointed that we took a long break is that we missed a lot on the NFL. A lot. NFL free agency is really going on right now. Um, a lot of moves were happening. A lot of wide receivers, I think, still open in the market. Some of them already got traded or signed. And then the NBA, more injuries happened. A lot, which I'll show you and tell you. And then NHL, not so much. MLB, spring training is pretty much over, kind of. And opening day starts next week. So we're gonna see which team I think will do good, which team will do bad, and then last but not least, we're gonna be talking about um, the thing that happened with the astronaut, and I think maybe something else with politics, but I'm not really sure. But it might be one or two little politics things. Today's gonna be a lot of sports, so let's get started. So let's talk about uh hmm let's see. Let me choose the people that we can talk to about. Let's talk about Myles Garrett. So Myles Garrett requested a trade out of Cleveland, saying that he wanted to actually win. Win. That's awesome for him. But he ended up signing back with them for a lot of money. For a lot of money. Let me pull up how much money they signed for. So he signed for 4 years, $40 million. 4 years, $40 million. Like, bro, you see the defense is okay, decent, but the offense is doing so bad. Like, why would you want to stay with Cleveland if they're so dysfunctional? You haven't had a stable quarterback since, I think, never for Myles Garrett. I think out of his 8 year career there, um, running back had a really bad injury. We're not sure he'll live up to the same as he was before. Wide receivers, you don't really have anyone that good, to be honest. Tight end is, I'm sorry, but you should have went to another team. You could just hold out the whole season, but I guess Myles Garrett saw past Browns players were like, yo, I want to stay in Cleveland. I want that money. We're not sure if he really wanted to win or he really wants the money. So it seemed like he really wanted the money more than the winning part, because if it was the winning part, he would have left already, or he still would have never signed. If I was him, I would have went to a different team. Like the Rams are pretty good. They're better positioned than the Browns. The Ravens, ooh, that would have been nasty. And many other teams. But what are you gonna do? Where Myles Garrett wants to stay? Hey, his choice. But we all said you should have left. A lot of other signings, like contract restructured, all that other stuff. Not a whole lot of like major signings that I'll go over because it's just basic O line, D line, depth, uh, many other stuff. Now let's talk about the other popular free agency players that signed. Um, let's see. All right, so Devontae Adams was released by the New York Jets, and he signed with the LA Rams for a 2 year deal. How do I feel about this? I think this is a good move for Devontae Adams. Matthew Stafford came back. He's going to stay as a Ram. Um, Adams going to be their number two wide receiver. Puka could be their number one. I think the system the Rams run is going to be pretty good for Devontae. Yes, in New York it wasn't the best, especially in Vegas, but both of those organizations and the Jets, man, were not set for a playoff team. Very dysfunctional. I think the Rams have a really good coaching staff with Sean McVay and many others. I think Adams could do really well. I think he would thrive really good in LA. The 2 year deal, so we're not sure how long he'll stay after that. So he'll retire or whatnot, but he seems like he still wants to play at a high level. He does play really good, it's just hasn't been stable. So yeah, Adams goes to the Rams. A lot of players got re-signed back to their team. Josh Allen agreed a 6-year, $330 million mega contract that includes $250 million guaranteed to stay with Buffalo. Woo! He definitely, you know, needed that money. He deserves it 100%. MVP. Um, you know, trust me, as a Jets fan, I do not like to see my other teams in the division do well, but I have a little soft spot for the Bills because they lost four straight Super Bowls. They make the playoffs and they lose. And they're not that type of organization like the Patriots who, are always spitting on you. And I support them, but I have more of a bigger soft spot for the Dolphins though. The Dolphins are just like the Jets, but the Bills have a little bit of it. But, you know, I'll leave it like that. But Josh Allen definitely deserves this. It's gonna be their franchise for years to come. Very good move for the Bills to lock him up longer term. I think he had like 1, 2 years left, but very good move. Now, DK Metcalf. He requested a trade out of Seattle, which was I was a little bit shocked in a way because he was there for long term, but then in a way it's like you can kind of see last year and the year before, like it wasn't the greatest because they had a lot of sideline issues with him because he was not happy. He was not getting the ball. I don't blame him. And he requested a trade, and he got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 second round pick. 2025 second round pick for DK Metcalf, and he's like in his mid to late 20s. I think, if I'm correct. And you would get rid of DK Metcalf for a second round pick. You could have got more. Yeah, he was on his last year of his contract, but the Steelers ended up signing him to a 5-year, $150 million deal. You could have easily got more than a second round pick. He was your top guy in Seattle, and you get a second round pick. That's crazy. Um, what I feel about this, I think the Seattle gonna do a little bit bad, but I think the fact that well, not a little bit bad. Never mind. Let me scratch that. The Seattle got another wide receiver coming in, which replaced DK. Never mind. But for Pittsburgh, Seattle, I think, didn't lose it because you replaced DK Metcalf with Cup, which helps. So I think they still could have gotten a guard or a few other picks. But for the Steelers, I think this is a really, really good move for them. You got their other wide receiver in Pickett, who, they needed another star wide receiver. And DK is that guy. And I think that's going to be really well with whoever's going to be the quarterback, which we're not sure is going to be in Pittsburgh. But I think, I'm not really sure how he'll thrive in Pittsburgh, but I feel like he'll do good too. I feel like a lot of these players you see sign with teams, you can see they're pretty much lined up of how their play calling is. And I think this is pretty good for DK. Not at the level of Devontae Adams is, because Devontae Adams, is much easier to work with him than DK because of how the Rams play call is compared to the Steelers. But I think DK is still going to be good though. Oh. Odell Beckham Jr. has been named a defendant in Ashley Paraham's amended complaint against Sean Diddy Combs is being accused of, yeah. So, how do I feel about this? Him, Drusky, and I think some other actor, if I'm correct, were accused of, this stuff. I get it. A lot of these celebrities and football stars and basketball stars tend to hang out with very high profile celebrities who aren't really, that good of a person. But Drusky, I can't really see him do that. I can't really see him do any of that. Just by videos I've seen him, and He seems like, much more level headed. OBJ, you never know. I'm not saying OBJ, but you never know. But I still don't think OBJ is a part of that whole fiasco. It just doesn't sit well with me. He seemed like a very genuine person, what I've seen from many clips and from what people talked about him. So you know how it is nowadays. Everyone accused someone for something, and then they get all the facts, and it never even happened. Like you see, Trevor Bauer, he got accused of what happened, and there was no proof. The girl lied, and he pretty much ruined his career. In a way, he kind of ruined it for himself because he kind of put MLB on blast, but still. And then on the other hand, there's some players who do get away with it, and you're like, huh? They're still playing? Like, I forgot this Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. He was actually accused, like, it was evidence, and he was still playing baseball after. What? If I see a player that was accused of that, I'm not letting him on my team. But I think OBJ is safe in this one because people tend to lie a lot, especially the people who like come out like 20 years later. I mean, this is not 20 years ago, but you know what I mean. Like 20 years later, a lot of these people come out, and it happened in the 90s or early 2000s, and they're like, oh, I was accused of this. And I'm like, bro, it's been like 20 years later. Why didn't you say it like that year or a year after? Or maybe like at least 3 years after if you want to be more like, But 20 years later, what? So you get more money? Or you be well known and be popular? What is it? But yeah, I mean, we just gotta wait and see. There's really not a whole lot of information about OBJ's, uh, you know, stuff going on with him. So I have really no idea what's gonna happen with him and many other celebrities. But I'm not even sure if OBJ is even gonna play football. He hasn't been healthy. He played with the Dolphins last year. Played like what 3 games. Barely got a catch. So we're not sure. Any other player? Let's talk about Hassan Reddick signed a 1-year deal, $14 million deal with the Bucks. How does this fit with the Bucks, and how does this fit with Hassan Reddick's contract? So as you know, Hassan Reddick was with the Philadelphia Eagles for a few years. Played at a high level. The Eagles traded him to the Jets for a Jets player and I think a second round pick or a third round pick or something like that. The Jets gave them a lot for Hassan Reddick, and Hassan Reddick was pretty much hold out for more than half the season because of contract. So it was kind of ridiculous because bro was complaining about I want to be the highest paid player, this and that, da da da. He not only got like money taken away from him because missing so many games, but the thing is that he could have taken a deal like I think a year prior, and he never did. And it was a really good deal. I think it was like 75 mil or something like that, or even higher than that. I'm not really sure. But he ended up holding out with the Jet. He played like really bad. I mean, I guess okay, but kind of bad because I watch the games. I barely hear about him, or I barely like see what he does. And I'm like, dude, what is he doing? And he gets a 1-year deal, $14 million deal with the Bucks, and he must be pissed because he's like, yo, but Florida does not have any taxes, so it helps. No state taxes. Um, I'm not sure how he feels. I don't know him, but I feel like he's kind of mad right now because he's like, "Yo, come on, I'm getting old. I want a big contract, this and that." But as for the Bucks, I think this is a really good addition. If he plays at the level he played in Philadelphia, I think this will help tremendously with the team automatically. That position, they need a little bit help on it, but I think adding him helps them tremendously. So we'll see how he does in Tampa. Another Tampa Bay player, Chris Godwin, signed a 3-year deal, $66 million deal with the Bucks. And the crazy thing is that the New England Patriots are trying so hard to get these wide receivers. They even outbid the Bucks. It says this: Chris Godwin left 20 million on the table with the Patriots due to wanting to stay in Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. Ooh, Godwin took a huge pay cut to stay with Tampa. I'm not really sure why that is the reason for New England not getting the players that they want, but I kind of can see it. So before we get to that, I think the reason why God wants to stay with Tampa, cause it's like your home. You know, it's like uh it's like, for example, me. I lived in New York my whole life until I was right after I graduated high school. I moved to Florida for college, and then I was there for like 7 years. And I'm like, I kind of want to move back to New York. I kind of don't want to be here anymore. So then I moved back to New York. I've been here almost, I think, like 2 or 3 years. So it's like that. Like, you don't want to leave, but then in a way you do. So I think for him, he ended up pulling not what I did, but he ended up staying. So say I stayed here for college, it's like that. And I stayed in New York my whole life. So it's like him. He wants to stay in Tampa. And I think the reason why the Patriots can't get anyone to really come that's like a high level star player like Godwin and Keenan Allen and many other players is because it's Boston. Like, Boston isn't really like a destination for like players. I don't know why. You would think because the Patriots are like the Patriots, and then it's a sports town. The food's pretty good. But I think the reason why is because the taxes are insane. Number one, number two, it's like always kind of crappy. The weather is like pretty bad. It um, and I think many other factors too. I think there's just the Patriot way. It's a little too much for a lot of players. But I know they're changing that a little bit now, so I'm not really 100% sure why. But there's many other factors that could be the reason why he didn't really want to go there. But yeah, Chris Godwin stays in Tampa. Then we have many other players signed here and there. I would go over them, but Oh, former Jet DJ Reed signed a 3-year deal, $48 million deal with the Detroit Lions. How is this? I think this is, as a Jets fan, I'm not really 100% sure because he kind of pissed me off when he was on our team. Like, when he was on our team the first year or two, he was good. I was like, oh my god, is he like the next Revis Island? And then he just fell off this past year. He wasn't trying. He would just let them go by him easily. It's like, dude, like, don't blame the coordinator. Blame yourself. You're not playing at a high level. Like, nah. And he was playing so bad, and I'm okay with him leaving. Like, it's fine. I really don't care. But I think for the Lions, I think he might put more effort in it because the Lions are a little different. I think they're much better organized, I guess, than the Jets. So I feel like he's gonna see that, and he's gonna have a lot of respect and actually play at a different level, and change his attitude. We just gotta see. We gotta see what happens. But I think it's a really good deal for the Lions. As for anyone else, oh, Sam Darnold. He signed a 3-year deal worth $110 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks. So this one, I was a little bit confused for Seattle. I honestly thought that um, Seattle was gonna go get someone else, like either keep Geno Smith or hmm, I would say go after maybe someone in the draft, either someone in the draft or not Kirk Cousins. I feel like it would have been someone totally different than Sam Darnold. I just don't get it because Sam Darnold does not fit their play style. Does not fit. Because if you haven't seen the Eagles, the Seahawks are always known for like Russell Wilson type plays or Geno Smith. More of your legs, more of your play action passes, more of you moving around. Sam Darnold is not that person. He's more of a Minnesota Vikings offense. Don't have to move a lot, throw the ball, get some protection. Boom. And I just don't get why. Yes, Sam Darnold has improved a lot since he was drafted, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this. It just doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, he did really well with the Vikings, and it showed that he can hold a franchise down for sure. But it's just different play calling compared to Seattle from Minnesota. Very different. So we just gotta wait and see. Now, as for the New York Jets, my New York Jets, we were having a lot of discussion. Well, I didn't have it, but they were having a lot of discussion of who's going to be the starting quarterback. They let Aaron Rodgers go, and pretty much they were like, all right, who's going to be the starting quarterback? A lot of people in the building were saying Tyrod Taylor, maybe the backup quarterback who was injured. I forgot his name, but he hasn't even started one preseason game, right? Unless he did. And they weren't sure what to do. Maybe someone in the draft, maybe Sanders will be available, but that's kind of like risky because you're picking number 7. So they ended up signing Justin Fields to a 2-year deal. And I think it's a really good deal, by the way, for the Jets, because it's a 2-year deal, $40 million deal. And I think this is the really good move for the Jets because you're not having him long term. You see how well he did in Pittsburgh. Like, yes, he didn't play for the whole season, but I just don't get why Pittsburgh benched him for some weird reason. But you see that he has the capability to, be a quarterback for a franchise. So I think they're not, giving him the whole meal, but they're giving them half the meal. What I mean by that is not letting him be the starting quarterback for years to come, but they're going to test him out this year, see how he does. If he does really good, maybe sign an extension next year. If he doesn't, maybe let him go, trade him, or just ride it out. Yeah. Also about having Justin Fields is that he pairs up with not only his wide receiver Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, but it's also the Jets line, the center that was at Ohio State. And then you had a couple of 2 or 3 other Buckeyes who played with Justin Fields. So I think this is going to be a similar thing like the Knicks are doing with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Mikael Bridges. They're playing really good together because they know each other since college. So we'll see if they turn into one of the Nova Knicks for the Jets, which I would call it Buckeye Jet. I mean, that's decent, but that'll be pretty interesting. That'll be a good paper for the New York Daily News. What else? Joshua Palmer signs with the Buffalo Bills, 3-year, $36 million deal. This one I think is good for Buffalo. I think their need a wide receiver is much different than it was in the past. Because if you've seen in the past, Buffalo was always eager to sign big name free agents like Terrell Owens, Stephon Diggs, or trade or sign, and just get those players to be on the team. But for some reason, it doesn't really work out. It's not all about the names. It's all about if they fit their play calling. So Joshua Palmer really is a unique player, and it's a little bit interesting because his career, he didn't start out that good. No. He barely got any playing time. If he did, he played good, but you could see some flashes. But this past year in LA, he did good for the Chargers. Not a whole lot, but you could see a lot of more potential coming out of him because he was able to get the ball much more. So how did this line up with Josh Allen? I think this will help a lot because he can be a deep threat down the field, which the Bills didn't really have. I mean, they kind of do in a way, but that's going to help a lot. A lot of speed. I think he's going to be good for the Bills. So let's just see what happens. Another Eagles player, Josh Sweat, signed a 4-year deal worth $76 million deal. So this one's gonna hurt for the Eagles. He was their top dog on that defensive line. this gonna hurt them a little bit for Arizona. Awesome. You needed that. You needed. Your defense was bad, bad, and you add him. Perfect. I know he's not the biggest guy. Uh, you know, he's not the biggest or most flashiest, but he had the strength. He had the quickness. He really knows how to get around an O line easily, and I think it's going to help the Cardinals tremendously, especially in that division. That's really tough. So you add him, awesome. As for the what other team? What team? Uh, oh, the Jets signed free agent quarterback Brandon Steffens to a 3-year, $36 million deal. That one, all right. So this one, a lot of Jets fans were kind of disappointed. They were like, "Come on, man, he's trash. Last year was so bad." But 2 years in a row, I think he ended up being a Pro Bowler one year. If I'm correct, it might not be, but he was really good. The year or two before, really good. So it's okay if it one bad year. It's okay. We're not trying to spend too much money on NFL players. We could have, but it would have been too much for the luxury taxes, and we do not want that. So, you know, we just gotta wait to see how he does with the Jets. Who knows? What else? What else? What else? Oh, Zach Wilson signed a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. Interesting. Very interesting. No question about that. What other players? I'm trying to see what other, well-known players. I could go for some players, but it's really nothing else to really talk about. Oh, so let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, and then like next week, I'll talk more about the NFL free agency. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. I could be here all day. So let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, like I said, got released by the Jets like a few days ago, and a lot of teams were interested in him. Not a lot, but a few teams: the Steelers, the Giants, the Browns, and I think the Vikings. The Vikings. So those are the 4 teams that are interested in Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers taking 10 years because these teams want to find a quarterback already, but they also want to see where Russell Wilson will go. So Russell Wilson's waiting for him, and he's playing that shadow, whatever, dark time room, whatever you want to call it. You gotta stop. You gotta stop, bro. You're like 40, what, 42? Like, dude, either you retire or play with a team. No other NFL player has done this. I would say the only one maybe is like Tom Brady, but that didn't last you for weeks. But Tom Brady is like Tom Brady. So I kind of let that slide. But, dude, just not with the team. The Giants need a quarterback badly, but don't go to them because they don't know how to win a game. They have Middle East neighbors, and what? Who else? The Vikings are your best option because they have everything there. Sign with them. They're somewhat interested in you. The Steelers can be one of the good teams that you want to sign with. They have DK Metcalf, Pickens, running back. I'm not really sure. Good O-line, which it tends to be a little better. D-line defense is good. Choose them. Browns, stay away from them. Stay away. But it's that simple. Like, why are you being so annoying? That's what I really want to know. Why? Because even one of the Steelers players, what's his name? I think his name is Hayward. Yeah, I think it's Cameron Hayward is tired of the QB talk and wants Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. And he says this. He said, "I ain't doing the darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be a part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back." We're saying, bro, make up your mind. Stop taking 10 years and pick 18. Pick it. if you were like in your mid to early 20s or like late 20s and you're a really really good player, uh, like a really really good player, and you're doing this for like a few days or something like that, then okay, maybe, but it's still kind of annoying. But you're 40 something years old. You did this before with the Jets. You were taking how many weeks with the Jets, and then you signed with them? Like, what? It was ridiculous. It was really, 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 really ridiculous when I was trying to find out if you were going to come to the Jets or not. Yeah, man. Okay, that's it for the NFL free agency for today. Um, NFL draft coming up. I think a week or two. I don't know. It's coming really, really, really soon. I'm not gonna go to the NFL draft. I can't really tell you which player is good because I haven't really done my research. I don't really watch the college football like that, so I'm not gonna give you my thoughts and opinion on that. Maybe when the draft comes, I'll remember certain players that I've watched. But yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. But next week we'll talk more about free agency. There could be more free agents. We have another week, so stay tuned for that. So now let's talk about the NBA, and let's talk about the injury issue in the NBA because I've been playing fantasy basketball, and I never ever for the past 4 to 5 years of playing fantasy basketball see this many injuries happen in the NBA. No, because I'll tell you what happened. Look how many players: DeAndre Fox, Paul George, John Collins, Cam Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, I can't pronounce him. Daniel Gafford, Jalen Johnson, Trey Murphy, Murray. Who else? Who else? Brodon, uh, Brandon Miller. What else? What else? Derek Lively. Bill. Can't pronounce this other guy's name from the Wizards. Jared McCain. It goes on and on and on. Lonzo Ball again. Um, it's just these high level profile players are getting injured. Now even Sabonis is out for 10 days. Jalen Brunson. Well, Jalen Brunson's not really injury history type of guy, but you get what I'm saying. There's so many NBA players getting injured this year. Why? I think Adam Silver saying, "Hey, maybe we're gonna decrease the amount of games." No, I think that doesn't make any sense because in the past there was never this many injuries. No, I'm 28 years old. I watched the NBA mostly my whole life since I was like 7 or 9 years old, and I've never seen this many injuries. Never seen this many injuries. I think, to be honest, I'm gonna do my best thought on why this is the issue. You can think differently, but I think the reason why there's this many injuries is that, a lot of athletes aren't really taking care of their bodies 100%, and I think they're too distracted into lifestyle, or they're just not taking it seriously, or whatever the case is gonna be. Either that of how they're not taking their body right. Because you see LeBron never missed the whole season. He spent so much money on his body. And yeah, he'll miss a game here and there, but he carrying the team. So there's that. Or I'll also say is that the food that we are taking nowadays are affecting the person's body. Like it's pretty much similar to what I say about LeBron. Take care of your body, but I think the food is much more different now than it was 15, 20 years ago. Because if you've seen in the past, there's pictures of a burger here and a burger here. It said the burger in the 90s or early 2000s. It said all the ingredients. This, this, this. And it looked like a big burger. A pretty big burger. Then you look over here and it looked like a small burger and it shows so many bad ingredients. You're like, wait, the burger should just have meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and onions and peppers. why did they have acid and it's color dye and all this other stuff? So I think the foods that are now compared to the past are much much worse, and that's why you see the whole politics thing going on in the U.S. that they want to change that, and they want to be much more strict with the food that we eat, which I agree 100%. But yeah, that's why I think those two things. I only have a third one, but I think that is one of the reasons why NBA players get injured so easily, because of those two things: being too distracted, not taking care of the body right, but also not eating the correct food. No, you can do it. You can do a lot of conditioning for your body, a lot of workouts for your body, but you have to watch what you put in, or you gotta watch what type of conditioning you do put in your body, because you can seriously, you know, yeah, like you see. And by the way, I'm a personal trainer, and I've done a lot of research, so I'm a little knowledgeable in this department, but I'm not a NBA expert or a professor. But I've seen how athletes train, what they eat, and it's not the correct one that you're supposed to do. So, yeah. So, we're going to talk about what other NBA news. Um, hmm, hmm. Jimmy Butler's doing awesome with the Warriors. Um, but they keep on winning. If he doesn't want to stay with the Warriors, I'll be shocked. You're thriving so well with them. Oh, uh, so LeVar Ball. Whew, this one kind of hits a little bit. He got his leg amputated. I'm not sure what it was. I couldn't really look up what it was, but um, let me check out. Let me check it. It was an infection in his leg. This is what he said. He was giving a lot of details in this interview, and LeVar Ball said the process of his foot amputated and how success and love of his three boys saved his life. So he says, I'm gonna give y'all the real deal. Recently, I had personal issues I had to deal with. I had an infection where I was in a hospital for over a month. This happened right in the middle of when Jello's song Tweaker blowing up around the world in January. Funny how life works sometimes. I had an infection on my foot that started spreading through my blood due to not paying attention to my diabetes. I ended up having to get my leg amputated. First, they cut off a couple of my toes. Then they cut off my foot. Then they said we gotta almost go where the knee part was for another surgery. So he said three surgeries, and then we're also a blood transfusion, not one, not two, not three, but four different times. All those surgeries and blood transfusion, it made me question whether it was worth going through it sometimes. Yeah. Wow. It made me think, man, just, you know, let me go about my business. It made me think that maybe it's time for me to shut down. But then seeing what my boys are doing out there, they're like, Dad, you're the toughest dude I know. Damn, getting emotional over here. Uh, that made me keep going. Even though I'm a bad man, I don't need much. It was going to have backing from my boys. One of the things that make me go is they are all together. When they're all together, I feel strong. Um, wow, wow. Um, LeVar Ball. Oh my God, man. I used to not like him. No, I didn't. I didn't. I wasn't like everyone else. Like, oh, that guy's annoying. But he would just talk so much, and he would just say the wildest stuff. Like he was kind of immature from a grown man. But then again, as time went on, I kind of grew on him a little bit. I did, because he wasn't. He's not those type of people who like I want my son and daughter who wants to do good so I can get more money. Nah, he wants his kid to do well because I think I'm not sure, but I think his path of him trying to go pro wasn't the best, and he didn't have that father figure to really push him or help, and he didn't have that money or well. So I think him doing it for his son really is something special because he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it because he loves his son, and that is awesome. And that is awesome. And I've seen like interviews that he generally is a good person. He's a good person. And for the people who are still mad or still annoyed about him, stop. You see, he barely on the in the on TV and stuff anymore. He barely is. I barely heard about him in over I don't know how many years. And I think he really is a genuine good dad. Like I wish my dad was like this. I wish that would have been awesome. But that's how life works. Um, you just gotta be the better man coming up. And man, I feel bad for him, man. All because he didn't track his diabetes. That happened. He was wow, man. And the kids are good. The kids are good. Jello's a little. I'm not big. I'm not a fan of Jello. I'm not. Jello kind of pisses me off a little bit. He thinks he had a video. Oh, I grew up with nothing, and uh, from the trenches and all this. And I'm like, do you know? You were literally on a TV show. You lived in a mansion in whatever area in Cali, one of the most richest areas in Cali, and you're saying you went through the trenches, bro? Stop, stop. You remind me of those kids in my high school back in the day. Uh, but yeah, I'm very happy the fact that the Suns were there for him, and that you know, he seemed like he's in really good spirit right now. I saw many pictures of him, and I think he really is in good spirit. I'm very happy for him. Blessed to him though. What else? What else? Let's see. Um, just a bunch of wins, losses, not a whole lot of stuff. Anthony Davis should be coming back pretty soon. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have to go through all of it. Oh, Tony Allen got number 9 jersey retired by Memphis. Okay, let's talk about this before we head on to we don't talk about MLB or NHL, but we'll talk to the politics stuff. So, how do you feel about NBA players who aren't a star player, like say a LeBron or a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant, get their jersey retired? How do you feel about that? To be honest, though, I think players like Allen, Iguodala, Haslam, yes, they were loyal for that organization and they did, key parts. But come on, bro, come on. Like I feel like you should be that number 2 star player or that star player or someone who really really impacted the organization, or at least like if you're gonna stay with an organization for so many years, you gotta be like well known for something, like something meaningful, not something I'm gonna sit on the bench like Haslam. I'm sorry. um I get Iguodala helped the NBA Finals, and I get Tony Allen for the key piece in the Memphis organization. I get Haslam was there and kind of was that guy, I guess. But it's a little ridiculous. Like you could have just, I don't know. I guess had a separate batter for a bunch of role players, for a bunch of players who didn't really impact. I don't know. Honestly, if I was those organizations, I wouldn't really do that, but I would put them in the Hall of Fame though. Yes, the Hall of Fame would be much more, I think, appropriate for these type of players. I feel like the banner is a little bit too much. Like you should just put it in your team Hall of Fame in the arena. The banner thing's a little too much. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys think they should just you're cool with it, or they should just done like a Hall of Fame, you know, type of thing, a little store. Uh, yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, last but not least, we're going to be talking about the whole the astronauts in the world today. So what I mean by that is that the astronauts just got home. Uh, I think like yesterday, and it's just very, very interesting that the astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, 8 days, and they're only trained for 8 days and then come home. No, they were there for 10 months. 10 months. 10 months, and you may think, all right, yeah, 10 months, and they can chill out for 10 months. No, the amount of equipment that's supposed to handle for 8 days, the amount of food that they have, the amount of oxygen that they're supposed to have, um, other stuff. And they lasted 10 months. I don't know how they survived that. Because if you may or may not know, if you are, say, because if you are in there for so many months, you can have a lot of health issues. A lot of health issues. There's some people who grew 10 inches because of how their body was in there. I don't know, some weird thing about that. And then there's people that are backwards always in pain, or they were blind a little bit because of the circulation inside the uh, space shuttle. And then you got like some stuff here and there that really affected them. Like you can even see the picture of the girl who came back. I was looking at it, I'm like, wait, that her? And she looks like she turned 80 or 90. And you see a picture before, she said she was like maybe in her 40s or 50s. Like, I'm like, what? So it's just very, very fishy how they were there for 10 months. And Joe Biden didn't even do nothing about it. He did nothing about it. Like, he didn't do nothing about it. That's the thing. They were there for 10 months. They could have been dead. And the thing is that what I saw is that if you're there past 3 months, you can have so many major health issues. I'm not really sure what their health issue is right now because I saw the video of them coming out and they couldn't really stand. But they were waving, they were smiling, so maybe they have minor health issues. But if that's the case, that's unbelievably shocking. Uh, I'm not like a doctor or nothing, so I have no idea because everyone's different. Like I said, one person grew 2 inches and another person had back pain, and another person that was blind. So it all depends on how you are as a person. That's what I think about when it comes to training. When you're training someone, you can give them a specific workout, but it may not work for them, but it'll work for you. So it's like that when it comes to that type of situation. Um, but yeah, it was just very, very interesting that for 10 months they got Elon Musk got them out there. Elon was saying that they had to do a lot of tests in order to bring them back home because if you if you design a space shuttle a specific way, it's gonna pretty much not only explode, but the parachute might not work, or it might not go as high up as you want it to, or it can be many different factors. So that's why it took a little bit of a while to, actually get them because you want to make sure before you actually do get them. But I'm happy that they're back, and I'm happy that they didn't pass away because 10 months, 10 months, wow. Um, but yeah, there's other stuff going on in politics. Oh, all right. One more thing. One more thing in politics. I saw the fact that Ukraine president came to the White House and had a conversation with Trump and with his vice president. This one is a little bit interesting because you can take either side. Don't get me wrong. I'm very open minded. I see both views. I don't go for one side like other people do nowadays who don't do their research. But I have to say this that the Ukraine president, I get it. You're frustrated, you're mad. I don't blame you. It's like, bro, we've been suffering. This is ridiculous. I don't blame you. I give you a lot of props for sticking up for your country. But you come into the White House and acting disrespectful, and the dressing part isn't really a big factor, but it would be nice to dress like a suit. But whatever, doesn't matter. I think I wouldn't even wear a suit. Um, but you're coming into the White House disrespecting the president and the U.S. people by saying how you're saying certain stuff. That's not right. It makes you look like even worse. So, um, yeah, he would say certain stuff to the vice president. They were like Trump was quiet, but the vice president and the Ukraine president were going kind of like back and forth with one another. And then the vice president say, "Well, you guys will see it. You guys will see it soon. You'll see how we feel." And Trump was flipping. He was like, "No, like, what are you talking about? Don't say that here." He was telling, like, he was putting him in his place. Like, nah, he was cutting. He was the Ukraine president was trying to cut off Trump while Trump was trying to prove a point to him. Like, nah, don't cut me off. I'm telling you how it is. I'll be nice to you. We try to help you, and you just like, come on. And it was a very interesting thing. At first, it was like, bro, this is embarrassing. But then after watching it and after seeing people's thought on it and seeing both sides, I seen the fact that Trump is not playing no games. He's trying to stick up for the American people, and that's what the president should be doing. Yeah, we should be helping other countries, 100%. No, allies, all that stuff. But look how many years. People are taking advantage of us. You see how many tariffs that they put on us? Triple the amount of tariffs that we did for them. We didn't do nothing. We didn't do that many tariffs for people for so many years. Now Trump's trying to turn everything around. And they were this close to signing the peace treaty, but ended up not happening because of the argument, and I think maybe someone told Ukraine president something else and changed his mindset. Who knows? But if I was the Ukraine president, I would just sign the treaty, bro. Like, yes, I get it. Putin can be a pain in the butt. And yes, he can tend to lie, certain stuff. But that's what it comes with the territory of you trying to do certain stuff with him. It happens. Even Trump said it. Trump's like, yo, you knew it was going to happen. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And, there's many other stuff they were talking about. I'm not going to go into it more. It's very debatable. I just want to make it short and sweet in my opinion on it. You guys can think differently. I'm very open. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, just say how you feel, what you think about that. And yeah, which is very, very interesting. Very interesting. I was like, huh? Grown folk going back and forth like middle schoolers? Oh, okay. Entertaining to watch. I'll watch it. But yeah, guys, that is it for today for Corner Talk. I don't know what episode we're on. I think we're like 10, maybe 11. No idea. But we're back. I'm going to see what I can do. I think we're going to do it every week, like always. Yeah, we're going to do like every week, like always. I'm trying to get my schedule in order for this podcast, but stay tuned for next week. We're talking more of free agency. I know I missed a lot in free agency. We talked a little bit of it. The other ones I didn't talk about, like Cooper Kupp or Seattle, we'll talk more about next week. And many other players signing with different teams. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next video.